with the activities on from the learning logbook. Okay, so let's continue. Now over here says learning log activities, page 105. We're going to start by looking at this page 105, and we're going to read first the purple information right here, okay, because we have to know what is this about. So over here it says, as you may remember, there are many forms of art, such as painting, sculpture, photography, architecture, music, and theater, among others. So art, you can express it in many ways, throughout many things. Art is not only paintings or drawings. Art is theater, art is photography, art is sculptures, okay? In many ways you can transmit art, even on TV shows. It says, however, an artist doesn't always know or practice all the arts. Most specialize in a single art form. For example, if I want to become an artist, well, I will select what type of art I want to do. So I will choose maybe paintings, only paintings, and I will do only paintings or water paintings, focus on daydreams or focus on something animals, okay? And it says, for example, Van Gogh is mostly known for his paintings, and Augustin Rodin for his sculptures. Michelangelo, on the other hand, did both painting and sculpture, and was a master of both. This is why today we revere both his David, one of the artist's most recognized sculptures, and his paintings in the Sistine Chapel. Some artists practice more than one art from the form to explore a subject that captured their minds. Sometimes this resulted in the creation of a series of pieces to explore different points of view or tell stories. You know that throughout sculptures, throughout paintings, you can tell a story, or you can tell a feeling or try to express a feeling. Series are a group of pieces that share a common subject matter or theme. They usually have a progression or order. Progression is an order, a sequence, okay? Because they are created over a period of time. When we study them all together, we can understand and appreciate the theme as a whole, but also appreciate the value of each piece individually. So our works may have different interpretations and meanings depending on whether they are observed individually or as a part of a series. That's what I'm saying. That some artists create their paintings or sculptures, and many artists or many people create their own interpretation according to what they see, okay? And it all depends if it's together as a series or as if individually art. However, here, a series can include pieces in one or more art forms. A good example of series of paintings is the Dancers of Edgar Degas, a French painter and sculptor. Degas saw ballet dancers as the perfect way to explore the mobility. So this painter focused only on dancers. You see, there's a total of artists that focus on many things. So this person that I said in the beginning focused on only dancers. Now it says, explore the mobility of the human body. He created a series of paintings where he portrayed dancers rehearsing, training, dancing, and resting. He also created sculptures of young dancers that complemented the paintings. The most famous is the little 14-year-old dancer. This is the painting or the sculpture of the little 14-year-old dancer, okay? You see that he created he created several paintings, series of paintings, while these dancers were training, they were dancing, they were rehearsing, they were resting, okay? Now guys, let's observe and let's continue with the learning log activity. Let's focus on page 105. Below this information, you have this exercise number 1 that you have to do, okay? I want you to read individually the following questions, okay? Question 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I will give you time for you can read it. And then together we're going to answer these questions. So read them, please. What is an artistic series? What are our artistic series for? What does the theme Edgar Degas explore? What art forms did he use? Okay, so I will wait. Read them. If you already found those answers, I need you to highlight them if you have the book. Or if not, then write down the answers. Put exercise number 1, page 104, today's date. Always put the date on the activities, guys, because I'm not with you and I don't remember or I don't know when you start doing your activities. So I need you to every day put the date on the activities. If the activities do not have date, then it's going to lower your grade. If I see that mostly in all activities there's no grade, even though you did it, you're going to have half. I need you to work on putting the date on the activities, okay? So now, almost finished writing down the questions, highlighting. Okay, let me share you my answers. Well, it says, what is an artistic series? Well, I have learned according to the previous information that an artistic series is a group of works that share the same subject matter. Oh, it won't fit. The same subject matter. Okay? That is, for me, that is what's an artistic series. Now, question number 2, it says, what are artistic series for? Why do artists do artistic series for? Well, according to my answers, they do it to tell a story or explore different points of view of the same I put it all over because I don't have too much space, of the same theme through one or more art forms. Remember that they mentioned that there are several ways that you can show this type of stories. You can show stories throughout painting, photography, architecture, sculptures, okay, drawings. Those are the art forms that exist that a painter can use to show or to explore in a specific theme, okay? So now I'm going to erase this, okay, because I have to write my answers on question number 3 and number 4, okay? So let's erase it. And now, question number 3 says, what was the theme Edgar Degas explored? What did he explore? He was focusing on something. He was focusing on what? Can someone tell me? I said it's an occupation, a profession is what? Yes, ballet dancers. Great job. So he focused on ballet dancers. Okay. Remember that he saw the dancers rehearsing, training, dancing. So that's why he made sculptures of them doing those activities. Now, question number 4. What art forms did he use? What type of art form did he use? He made what? He used what? Did he use music? Did he use the theater, TV shows? Can someone help me on that? Yes, you're right. He used paintings and sculptures. So he used paintings. Let's write it down. He used painting and sculptures, okay? Now, he used painting and sculptures. So let's continue by observing this video, okay? This is a video about the little 14-year-old dancer that Edgar Degas focused on. Remember that over here below, over here, I don't know if you observe right here, it says the little 14-year-old dancer. So he focused on that young dancer to create his paintings, and that painting is a famous sculpture, okay? So let's start by looking and observing this video, and I hope you enjoy it, okay?
I think he chose the ballerina because he was interested in movement. So he was really obsessed, artistically obsessed. I just started to be really interested in this question of touch, body, movement, and sculpture. With the question of movement, so he chose the ballerina. And what is really interesting in the case of Degas, that he never represented the ballerina with this kind of cliché, the beautiful ballerina who was loved by all these old men. She's tired, she's taken her bag, or she's lacing her shoes, or putting her hand like that. And so it's really the movement, and how the movement is just turning her body. The ballerina, she's a worker. She's not, she's someone, she works, and so she's tired, she suffers, she has pain, and so I think this is very interesting. When I was here 3 years ago, I was very moved to see the original, because it's a little a myth, because you can see all over the world, when you have chance to visit the world, a lot of little dancers. And copies cast later, and here is the original one. So first, I was really very moved to see it, and also I was very interested to think about the difference between original and copy, and what means an original in sculpture. And I think this is the best example. I started to work on this piece for 2 reasons. Why? First is that I was interested in the difference between painting and sculpture, and how to explain this kind of hierarchy of art, where sculpture was always minor compared to painting. The second reason is that Degas started, so now coming specifically to this sculpture, that when I discovered that Degas started, first, he never showed his sculpture, but only this one. So this is the only one he accepted to show. And the last reason why I was interested in this sculpture is that this past year I'm working on the question of fake copies. So what is an original? And one of my questions, and I think this is a more philosophical question than an art historical question, is that what is the visual experience I have when I look at this sculpture and I know that this is the original? And also here it's fantastic to see, all because in here is exhibited the original works and another two other sculptures, so it's really important. And also because I think the experience you have in front of the sculpture is very different from the experience you have in front of an image of the sculpture, because in front of the sculpture the experience is a relationship between your body, so with the sense, with sensual emotion and everything, and the sculpture itself. It's not just a gaze, which is something called, I mean, in the gaze, there is when you are in front of the sculpture, there is all your body which is like involved in the gaze. So I think it's really very, very important, and also only here you can see, when you are in front, you can see what is the difference between wax and cast. Something like that, because there's something in the material that you cannot see in an image. And I used to say to my student that, because now the student, they think that they can work only on images on screen, and I say, no, you have just to walk and to go to see the works. I would say that it's even more important today to support the real experience. This is an experience of reality, and it's not image, it's real.
Okay, now let's continue. I hope that you enjoy this video. It's really interesting how this woman expresses her thoughts about Edgar Degas and how he was extremely obsessed with the dancers due to his artistically obsession that he had, because he liked seeing and making paintings or sculptures about these dancers, how they did their work, how they felt, okay, while they were dancing, while they were resting, okay. So it's really cool to see, and I think it will be really cool, more cool, to go to that museum and see physically these sculptures. So now let's continue on the next page, on page 106 from your learning logbook. So come back and grab your learning logbook. We're going to read this purple information, okay, about the artistic series and more about the artist, okay. It says, as you may remember, there are many forms. Oh no, sorry, I got confused. I was on the wrong page. It says, when you observe an artistic series, we must consider several elements that will help us to appreciate and understand what the artist tried to express through a work that was created in fragments. Okay? It says, first we must place the work in its context, when, where, and who created. So before criticizing this sculpture or any type of sculpture, you have to focus on the context. So if I see this sculpture, for example, this one right here, I have to think on the context, when and where and who created it. Okay? It says we must consider the time span over which the author created the entire series. Another aspect to consider is what medium or mediums the artist used. What materials did he use, okay? We have to think in what time concept this happened. When, what year? Maybe in the 18th or maybe in the 15th, okay? Let's take the case of Degas and his series of ballet dancers. He created one sculpture and several paintings, mainly in pastels or oils. He used pastels colors, okay, or oil colors. It says, why did he use both painting and sculptures? Why do you think he used painting and sculptures for this type of art? Okay, maybe he liked both. Maybe he was kinesthetic, but at the same time he liked just painting. Kinesthetic because kinesthetic implies of making something, touching, doing something with your hands. Okay. It says he wanted to explore how to capture movement in emotionless forms. He also wanted to show the feelings evoked by seeing the different position the dancers could take. Like the woman on the video, she said, I think he was obsessed, or he liked doing this type of sculptures because he wanted to know and explore how to capture how they did their movements. I think it's like a photographer. There's some photographers that take several photos at a time while you're making a position where you're walking. So I think he is, instead, because back then there were no cameras, maybe he did the paintings or the sculptures to capture those moments. Okay, now we do it digitally. We have a some people have a phone, and if you have a phone, you just click and take a photo. Okay, that's how you can take photos and see several movements. But back then they did not have that possibility. So that's why I think that was the way he wanted to transmit that. He wanted to tell and show everyone the movements, or every movement that a dancer did, by using painting and sculptures. Now it says, we must ask how the work of Degas is organized. In other words, does it tell a story? Does it have a progression, or do they seem to be individual pieces? What is the relationship between the pieces that make up the series? What are the relationship? Do we know? It says, in the case we are analyzing, the pieces are related to the theme of the dancers. So these, for example, pieces are one of these paintings. Imagine here another one and another one, but continue having like a sequence, a progression. For example, this person right here, these dancers right here, they're in position. Imagine here to your right another painting about another position of a dancer, and over here another painting about another position of a dancer. So that means they're having a progression, a time span, a sequence. Okay, so that's why maybe he created pieces and another piece and another piece to show the progression of a movement from each dancer. Now, where did we left? It says analyze related pieces of the dancers, but there is no story. It doesn't tell the life of a particular dancer. However, the techniques in the color palette are the same in all the paintings. Finally, as we look at each piece in the series, we ask, can they all work as individual pieces outside the series? For example, can this image right here that you have, and imagine here's another one, work individually? Like, can you see it, for example, hanging on your bedroom and then hang it on the kitchen? Can you see the difference individually? That's what they mean, individually, not all hang together as one progression. That's what they're referring about. Okay, what does each part of the series make you feel? What does the series as a whole make you feel? When a piece in a series is able to tell some story or communicate a message, the entire work, that is, the complete series, may have a wider and more complex meaning. So when you put a piece of series, will tell you maybe a small story, or will try to communicate you a message. Well, all type of paintings will, okay? So I don't know, how would you feel seeing or watching this type of images? Okay, now let's continue by doing a notebook activity. So go grab your notebook and let's work on a notebook activity. Right here you have to make or create a summary. In your own words, you're going to create a summary from the information shown on page 106 and 105 and 106. Okay, so that means that you have to create a summary about this information and about the information that's on page 105. So you have to underline, make a scanning of that information, scan really fast because we already read it, and you're going to create a summary in your own words, what you thought about this information. Well, I think that Edgar Degas this and this, and I consider that this and this, and I think that back then many artistic series, well, is this, everything, whatever you understood from this information in your own words, en tus propias palabras, in your own words, you have to create the summary. Okay, don't copy those sentences from those pages and put it exactly on your notebook. No, but I think that this topic is cool because it talks about many type of art forms. Okay, the famous artist was Edgar Degas, according to the information, and the interesting part is that he focused on several dancers, ballet dancers, because he wanted to explore their movements, sha-la-la-la-la. Okay, in your own words, a summary about this information. Okay, remember to check your spelling. Please, guys, this part is really important to check your spelling. Okay, go back and check. If you don't understand how to write a word, then use Google and use the technology, use your computer and Google type the word. Okay, so for this activity I will give you some time. Okay, I will give you 10 minutes to create this summary. Remember, the summary has to be with 75 words minimum. Okay, a summary with 75 words minimum. Okay, so count your words, long sentences. If it's past the 75 words, great. If you do 100, it's okay, better, because you're giving more information to me about your thoughts, about the information that we just analyzed. Okay, so now get ready. Okay, prepare all your materials to do this activity. I will set the timer. Okay, so ready, 1, 2, 3.